Hey, this is Kim from the future. I messed up the audio recording for this episode. Lucas has tried his best to fix it as good as you can, but it is what it is. Still, I think the episode is enjoyable, and yeah, sorry, enjoy.
But I could test it, and I didn't. Shit!
Because that's not as easy as you'd think.
What in mythology is easy or defined, very, set in stone, let's say?
Yeah, and that's one of the fascinating things with myth and folklore. And we're going to use the term myth very well. Welcome to Drawing from Myth with Diaz Holm. My name, I already said my name. We should get this intro figured out. I'm Diaz Holm, also called an Inga. I'm an artist from Bergen, Norway, and I will be drawing something mythical while I talk to my co-host.
So, I'm Lukas Wozny, and I'm a stage technician and anthropologist of culture, and I will be co-hosting.
You're a what now? You're an
anthropologist of culture.
Anthropologist
of culture. Cultural anthropologist. That was the thing. Yeah.
Yes. And what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be drawing something around the theme. And we are going to be exploring that theme as well as we can. In the future, we hope to do a lot of different things. So if you have suggestions, what you would like to see me draw, or what you would like to hear us talk about, then comment below. Or if you have anyone you want us to talk to have guests, then please do comment below. And the theme for today will be snakes. Snakes. Not snakes on a plane, but snakes in mythology. And I think what we need to do first is to try to define a mythological snake, because that's not as easy as you'd think.
What in mythology is easy or defined, very, set in stone, let's say?
Yeah, and that's one of the fascinating things with myth and folklore, and we're going to use the term myth very widely. We're going to delve into ancient myth and folklore. We're going to take from modern myth and folklore, and also, when we want, talk about the mythical vehicles of storytelling that are current, like movies and games and metal and all other stuff that might be interesting. But I think when we are talking about mythological snakes, we have to come to terms with one thing, and that is that there is very little difference between snakes and dragons.
No, it isn't.
Yes, they're the same.
No. Oh, no. Let's phrase it differently. Mm-hmm. It is and it isn't. Depends where you're looking at. What is your point of view? Where you're starting from? So, if you think about the Germanic languages, that might be the truth. That might be that that's actually it's a thing. When you have a drake or a dragon and a snake or a worm, they may have. Can you explain it?
Yeah. So my idea is that when you look at the words for snake in whether it be Indo-European languages or it is in Chinese, you often find that the word for snake and dragon are the same, or are borrowed from another language where it's the same. So for instance, in Norwegian, in Old Norse, you would say that a snake is an ormur or worm, which is the same for snakes and for dragons. And you also have the loan word drake, which is the same as dragon, which comes from Greek, and that is also means snake. And dragon, snake, wyvern, all of the serpent, ormur, worm, all can interchangeably both mean the animal, a snake, and the mythical creature, a dragon. And therefore what I'm proposing is that we look at a sort of a snake-dragon construct, which is a spectrum. And on one side of the spectrum you have the snake-like things, which animal-like things, and on the other you have the dragon-like things. And even further than that, on one side you have the sub-snake-like things. So you have things like an earthworm, which can be snake-like. You have things like a garden hose, which in Norwegian is hageslange, or a garden snake. You have snaking around. You have all these things that are snake-like. And on the other, you have the Uber dragon.
So four legs, a head, and a wings and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it can be even more than that. It can have as many heads as you want.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like 4 legs, has a wings, like the Uber, like the all included.
Yeah, but some of them are very different. Like you have in Mesopotamian, the creation story. You have Tiamat, sort of a water dragon.
Depends, because it might be either a snake or a dragon. Depends on what sources you see, and in Enigma Eris, for example.
Point.
Yeah.
But that is a part of the creation of the world.
Yes.
Yes, from its body. And that is more of a cosmic dragon. And I think also that these two terms, snake and dragon, I think there are some different sources for them. Because even though we're talking about, in mythology, we're talking about dragons, and they do have features that are similar to the garden snake, and they have snake-like features. I think we find a lot of the sources of these Uber dragons' tales. We find that in things like the cosmos, like the Milky Way, like comets, like rivers, like volcanoes.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And we put this animal snake onto these things, while we also in mythology have things that are more on the animal side of the snake, that are not drawn from the mythic cosmos, but from stories where sometimes we put a talking snake in there. Because there are always, or often, mythologies and folklore have these tales of a time when animals could talk, or even trees could talk. And there you have talking snakes, which are on this dragon snake spectrum, but they are completely on the animal side.
So I will totally agree with the spectrum, although I will not agree to that the snake and the serpent and the dragon are the same. Definitely not from every single point of view. When you say about the language, Slavic language doesn't have this, because as far as I know, there is no one origin for both words. Because smok, so dragon, and wąż, so snake, are coming not from the same. If I'm wrong, just correcting me in the comments. Just engage with us, please. And that's one. And not always a culture has to have a dragon when they have a snake. As far as I know, I don't remember there is any dragon in Aboriginal Australian culture. Although there is a rainbow snake,
which I would put on the. I would put that on the cosmic snake dragon side. And of course, when we're talking about things like this, you can't put a single definition around anything.
Totally.
This is just sort of a loose framework to play around and to recognize that even the Uber snake, the cosmic, the world snake, the Ouroboros, Jormungandr biting his own tail, in all its dragonness has snake-like features, and even the common garden snake has dragon-like features, in some sense.
Yes, that's why I told you that I'm totally agree with the spectrum. So we have a fader when one goes up and the other feature goes down, and not about that's the same. That's definitely on a fader or on a spectrum, when we can mix and match different things, and they're never gonna be strictly, like as I said, set in stone. Like as we begin the whole conversation with the mythology, there is nothing ever set in stone. Everything is moving and changing, because mythology is something which is alive.
Yeah, and so what we will be focusing on today is on that spectrum, is something that is closer to the animal side, the snake side of the spectrum, and further away from the dragon side.
Yeah.
So disregarding dragons and Ouroboros and Midgard serpents, what's your relationship with snakes?
I like them very much. Since I was a kid, my uncle, who loves animals more than other animals that don't have two legs, let's say, he had snakes. He always showed me snakes. From started like boa or something like that, or small pythons, to just normal like a garden snake or something like that. But I mean like a living garden snake. We call it like that. And sometimes when I went to a biology lesson, I got like a skin. They have the leftover when they change the skin. So that's my personal thing. From mythology, I was always into Greek mythology, so like you have Medusa with the heads of serpents.
Yes.
Which I have even a ring on my hand. So then and I have a serpent tattoo as well on my hand. Serpent serpent skeleton. So yeah, I really like serpents and snakes.
Yeah. When I was 4 years old, we lived for a year, half a year in Spain, and we lived kind of hippie-ish parents. So we lived two different places. One of them was an old sort of house upon a hill, and there was no running water there. So our toilet was just a hole in the ground in some ruins next to the house, and I became convinced that there lived a snake in a little hole in the wall right beside the toilet.
Was it?
And everyone said like, no, there's no snake. No, snakes don't dig holes like that. And then, to my utter joy and to the terror of the rest of the family, One day, we found a snake around 1.5 meter long, kind of fat, sitting right by the toilet, right where I said it was going to be. And my father and my kind of stepfather-ish thing at the time had to kill a snake, which took a lot of work.
Was it a venomous snake or?
I don't. It was in Spain. I have no idea about snakes in Spain. Snakes on a plane, yes. Snakes in Spain, no. And growing up, as an artist, I loved snakes. But growing up, there was also this very cool rock and roll thing about snakes, because Alice Cooper had a snake, and I fucking loved Alice Cooper. And the Constrictor album, I think it's a boa constrictor. And then also wrestling, you had Jake the Snake.
Oh, I don't know that. You know, you better than
yeah. And I think even one time Alice Cooper was manager for Jake the Snake. So worlds collided, wrestling and rock and roll. And yeah, so I've had a love affair with snakes ever since I was right about the toilet snake.
Good to be right, right?
It's beautiful to be right. Okay, how about you? Do you have any pop culture snakes that...
You mean like a contemporary now?
Contemporary snakes.
So from Harry Potter, like the whole thing with.
You like Harry Potter?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I don't like the author,
No.
but I like Harry Potter. Yes, totally.
No, my wife likes the books, not the author.
Yeah.
But I've never had any relation to Harry Potter. But there are snakes there. There's a basilisk.
Oh, there, yeah. So the whole house is like a snake base, so you know. But for me, snakes more like before Harry Potter, there was Vampire the Masquerade for me. So that's how old I am. And there were followers of Set. They were total, like they had own discipline. If you know Vampire the Masquerade roleplay game, I was one of the vampire clans who they have a different name now, but at the time they called followers of Set, and they have own discipline called serpentis. Ooh, already really good about it. Really good about it, and I really like that clan. Although my beloved clan was Nosferatu and more like a rat team, which we talked before. Other thing from pop culture and snakes? Do you have anything in your mind?
Well, I remember the snake in Conan the Barbarian with...
Yes, the Setites, yes.
Yeah, and that's Setites as well. There's something there. And I have to say, Conan the Barbarian is one of the best worst movies.
I don't know if it was, because it was huge for that time.
Yeah. But there is something about the screenplay and the scenes that every single scene in itself is perfect. It's just beautifully written, beautifully directed, beautifully acted, everything. When you put it all together, it's kind of a slow movie.
It is, but it's as well written from a Pulp Fiction books written by Howard. So, you know, it's.
Have you read the books?
Yeah. Yes.
And
I love them.
The thing about Robert E. Howard as a writer is that he wrote lines where every word is like a hammer.
Yeah.
It's very direct, very like boom, 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 boom. There's no frills, and it's beautifully written for the pulp that it is.
Yeah, and I love that kind of pulp. Anything else then, Conan, for you?
Not that of course, Serpenter in G.I. Joe.
I forgot about it. Jesus. Well, you know, when I was last time when I was watching G.I. Joe, although I wasn't so huge fan of G.I. Joe, it was too militaristic for me. But yeah, definitely it was there.
You know, when I was a kid, I had a few careers blotted out for myself, and that was, and we've talked about them all. It was artist, rock and roll star, wrestler, or G.I. Joe soldier.
So you are 2 or 4. You might be not a star, but you still do wrestling.
I'm training wrestling. I'm a trainee, yes.
Yeah. So you are closer to 2 from those 4.
Yes, I am, definitely.
Yeah. Any other thing when it comes to serpents, although it's just a name, it's the band Tiamat, which I have a long relationship. Not lately, but for some time in the beginning of 2000s I had. And that's definitely coming from the mythology.
Yeah, but that is more on the cosmic scale.
Yeah. But yeah. And I really loved the cover art from Pantera, the Grey Zone and Tranquil, which was a rattlesnake.
Oh, yes.
I had the T-shirt, and that was the first. It wasn't the first Pantera album I heard or listened to, but it was definitely my beloved one at the time when it. I think it was released in 1996, and definitely the cover with the snake helped me out to pick it up. And I had the T-shirt for like 7-8 years until it was just had so many holes. It was more holes than a T-shirt.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
If we go back a little bit, not necessarily to Harry Potter, but one of the snakes that even though I don't know much about Harry Potter, I do know that one of the snakes is a basilisk.
Yeah.
And basilisks are often portrayed as these snake-rooster hybrids.
Mm-hmm.
But they even appear in some Norwegian folklore.
Do they?
Yes, and they are not originally from here, but the word becomes a loan word here as well. So we have basilisks that are described as a sort of troll, because that was when the word troll was used for much more than what we think of as troll today. And they are born from, it might be a snake or a rooster that lays an egg in a pile of manure, of shit.
Yeah, I know what a manure is.
Yeah, so that's, and then out of that egg, which is an unholy egg because it comes from the rooster and not the hen, comes the basilisk, which is sometimes a sort of a snake. It can even be a hoggorm in Norwegian, which is the only venomous snake we have, a viper, of sort, common European viper, something like that. And yeah, so those are, I haven't really researched the basilisk for this time, so I'm doing this all from memory now. But the basilisk is a sort of a folklore mythological snake that's firmly in the supernatural, but still on the snake end of the spectrum.
So for that one, you're gonna have as well Typhon in Greek mythology.
Again, that's very cosmic, isn't it?
Oh yeah, okay. So Seraphim. Seraphim are the fiery snakes. It's not cosmic. It's just a snake, just fiery. It's later on it was as a
where is that from?
Hebrew.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, and funny stuff. The serpent of the bronze, which was on like a stick, was, if you touch it, it was keeping you safe from seraphim, who were the fiery serpents. So there you have it, and that's not cosmic. And then you have as well a hydna, which is a viper, like you have Hogurm. That's a Greek serpent kind of monster with a woman's body, and it has the lower part of a serpent. It's not a dragon and nothing cosmic. It's just a monster, which is a snake or serpent, actually. And a hydna, I think it was in The Witcher. Witcher is a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so the Witcher games,
Yeah.
which I'm very fond of, they're made by a Polish studio called CD Projekt Red,
Yeah.
And they are set in a sort of a fictional Europe, East Europe type.
General
place.
European, I would say. General European, I would say.
Yeah, but with a focus on the eastern part
Central
more,
Eastern, yeah.
And it draws a lot from Slavic and Polish folklore and mythology. But it fictionalizes it
Yeah.
quite a lot.
Totally.
But I think there are, I don't remember much snakes from the Witcher games, at least.
Was a basilisk.
There is basilisk.
I think it is. And
It's been a while since I played them.
I started doing, when CD Projekt Red started to release games for Mac, I have my second and first on a Mac. For Mac, I mean their own processors. And I played the second part like 4 or 5 months ago, and I still don't remember if there were any snakes. Although I remember there were echidnas, but there were not so much. Were they like more spider-like? I don't remember. Please correct us in the comments. But there is another culture which has a lot of snakes or serpents, like Mesoamerica.
Yeah.
They have quite a lot.
So I know that at least in Maya and Aztec culture, you have the feathered serpent, Quetzalcoatl.
That's Aztec. So Aztec actually is Mexican, because Aztec name it's a very modern thing. They were the Mexican culture.
But the Quetzalcoatl is also something you even though you don't have necessarily the name, you find the same sort of deity in the earlier Mesoamerican cultures as well, and in the Maya culture. So it's shared between Maya and Aztec.
Yeah, and it's very chthonic, like although not ever, because part of them have the typical chthonic vibes, like you have in European culture, right? Where there's something which is digging into the earth or the dirt, and it's coming from the earth, right? But then you have the serpent which flies, because it's feathered serpent. I think he flies, right?
Yeah.
And then.
But again, I would argue that these are far on the cosmic, non-animal side of this equation, or on the dragon side.
There's not dragon. That's just a serpent.
But I don't think there's a difference.
Okay, all right, I get it.
Crucify me if I'm wrong.
I am not going to crucify you. Although the whole symbol of a serpent, which is then visible from the tales of the mythology, right? It doesn't matter if it's Maya or the Mexican. It shows you that the serpent has a huge impact on the culture. From either being one of the main characters of the world building for them, or being a really important one, and has both, which is very interesting. Has both functions. It's either a tonic one, so very binded to the earth, or very eerie and airy. So like the I always have problems with saying it.
These are difficult words to pronounce, but we'll be pronouncing a lot of things wrong here.
Quetzalcoatl? Oh my!
Yes.
I always laughing when someone is saying something in German wrong, and then I'm here apologizing. Yes, but those you have. That's again a spectrum. You have everything which is more heavy and dirty and being binded to the ground, and something which is airy and flying and binded to the air.
Yeah.
And both, by the way, may be evil or not evil, destructive or creative.
In Mapuche myth, you have also two cosmic serpents or snakes that called Kai Kai and Tren Tren. One of them is associated with water and the other with earth, and in the creation mythology, it is this fight between them that shapes a lot of the land, and humans have to flee from the mountains that are created from this battle between these two. One of them good and one of them bad, and one of them associated with earthquakes, but again, very cosmic snakes. And in Norse mythology, you have a lot of cosmic snakes, as cosmic dragons, like Nidhogger, who gnaws at the tree's life roots. You have Jormungandr, the world serpent, who is sort of a Ouroboros, a snake that coils around the earth and bites its own tail as a symbol of infinity. But you also have a few folklore and mythological snakes, like you have Ragnar Lothbrok, which is killed by being thrown in a snake pit, I think, which doesn't sound pleasant. And then in the story of Loke, you have a very mythological, but still maybe more snake-like snake. Because when Loke becomes unfriendly with the gods, with the other gods, he is imprisoned and bound with the guts of one of his sons, because that's how you do it.
Yeah, the proper Germanic mythology.
Inside or under a mountain, so probably inside some cave. And Skada, the Jotun, and now often portrayed as a ski goddess because she's associated with hunting and skiing. She binds a snake in the roof above Loke, and that snake, viper, drips venom on to Loke. But Sigyn, the wife of Loke, has a bowl, and this is something I've drawn many times. One of my favorite images to draw. Has a bowl an empty bowl which she holds over Loke's head, and she stops the venom from hitting him. But every once in a while, she has to pour out the bowl, and whenever the venom hits Loke, it's so painful that he screams and shakes, and that's how earthquakes are created.
Yeah.
And I think this is a beautiful sort of little tale, because I don't think that people of the Viking age ever actually believed that this was the physical reality of. I think they believe in the physical reality of a lot of the tales and the things around them and the magical properties of snakes and all of that. But this type of story seems to me to be more of the kids ask you a question.
And you try to describe
And
it.
you say, yeah, maybe it's like this. And it is a story to sort of make the world more living. And I don't know if this is a cosmic snake or not, but it seems like more of a...
It's not a cosmic because it have nothing to do with creation or a bigger like. It's a part of
earthquakes still.
Yeah, but it's a part of some kind of a punishment. Like we have with the rats, which are part of the justice. This is just a tool, right? To tell the story. By the way, I just realized there is another, maybe not, cosmic being, which is snake-like. It's a Tatzenwurm from Nibelungenlied, which has this is the South Germanic myth, which as well has a Scandinavian part. It was, I think, as well written down by Snorri Sturluson. But
so Snorri Sturluson writes down in the Ynglinga saga
that's
stories
what I mean.
that are very similar to
Nibelungenlied.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And there was a worm. There was a worm. So it was kind of like a snake, but it wasn't like a serpent. It wasn't as well, for me, a part of the cosmic scheme. It was as well a tool to tell a story that because it was part of. You need to kill it, right, to get the Rheingold. That was it. It wasn't it, or I'm totally misleading.
No, I think, but I think this is more on the dragon side again.
Okay. Yeah, this border between these two is really shaky. Shaky. Yeah, but those stories are just those stories. Those creatures are there to tell a story, right? It's not like you need to have that creature, or it's like as we said, set in stone creature, which is part of our story. It has a point.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think when you're talking about, the dragon in the myth, the story of the Nibelungen is that Fafnir? Is it?
In the Nibelungen, no. In Fafnir, it was, I think, in the Yngling saga, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Sigurd.
It was Tatzenwurm in or it could be as well called Stollenwurm or Stolvurm. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think when we look at more snake-like snakes, we find a lot of symbology with, like the modern medical symbol is the rod with the one snake.
Yeah.
And you have a hermetic rod with two snakes, and you have the snake, perhaps because of how it coils, that is associated with eternal life, with magic. And
not only, with sexuality as well. Like in modern satanic religions, it's a symbol of sexuality, and not only on those, because it was as well part of sexuality in a lot of other mythology.
I can't imagine why snakes would be portrayed as sexual. Just seems wrong.
What's interesting is they connected to women more than men, although they are very phallic.
Yes, they are. But one of the sort of first, probably a first snake stories is the climax of probably the first story or one of the oldest stories we have written down.
Yeah, I mean, you mean in our culture?
In written down at all, we have the snake in Gilgamesh.
Oh, that one. You have
Yes,
me.
that one.
I thought that you're gonna go the other way. No,
No,
good.
we're getting there. We're
All right,
definitely
right.
there.
Yes,
So-
that's there. I can agree. Yes.
In the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is, I mean, if you haven't read a good modern translation of it, read it, because it's a very fun story. It is kind of like when Superman and Hulk meet up and they try to bash each other's head in, and then they figure out, no, we're equally strong, so they go and beat up bad guys. And that is King Gilgamesh and the Animal Man Enkidu.
Yeah.
And they beat up some wrong animals, including they killed the heavenly bull. And spoilers, Inanna or Ishtar, the goddess, which is also associated with snakes. She has snakes and very feminine. She manages to get Enkidu killed. So he becomes sick and dies. And this is when Gilgamesh sort of has to come to terms with his own mortality for the first time. And he is in a state of shock and grief, and then he goes on an epic quest, which includes links to the biblical flood myth and travel to the underworld and all of these things that we know from a lot of other myths. And finally, I don't remember what he finds. Is it a seed? Something that will give immortality.
I don't remember either, because this was a long time I was reading it. And
We need corrections here.
yeah, we need corrections. But the only, like, when I think about the old Mesopotamian culture, then for me it's Enuma Elish and Tiamat. But that's a very cosmic thing.
Yeah, but the thing here is that as I don't remember if it's a seed or a drink or it's something that will give immortality.
We can check always then.
And as he has it in his hands, he is distracted. And a snake scurries away with it. So the key to eternal life is stolen by a snake.
That's a plant of immortality.
A plant of immortality.
Yes.
And that leads us to what I'm drawing here.
Oh.
Because there are a lot of parallels with another snake.
Which one?
Yeah, which one? For a lot of people, the OG bad guy. Which you would think, if you're talking about biblical mythology, Christian mythology, you would think that we would classify the snake in the Garden of Eden as a cosmic snake.
No.
Because it is often linked to that serpent called Satan in Revelations.
Which is on the other side of the book.
Which is on the other side of the book. And that link between those two, at the time when the Garden of Eden stories were written down, there existed no Satan in this
Even if it existed, it was a ha-satan, it was a function of the person.
Yeah, no personalized Satan, but no concept of a personalized Satan or adversary. And the snake in the Garden of Eden is truly just a snake.
Just a snake. And was it evil? Because I don't think so. What was even evil about him?
Yeah, so let's go through the story first, because the Bible starts with 2 creation accounts.
Yes.
The first one, in Genesis 1, is very much a perfect creation of the earth with a very powerful God-type being, a divine entity that is closer to what we think of as God today. Still a bit far away, but closer. But in the Garden of Eden story, which comes later, it comes from chapter 2 of Genesis, but it's probably an earlier story. We meet a very anthropomorphic God who goes around and makes the earth, not in the same way as in the first story.
He's not all-knowing. He's not all-knowing.
Not all-knowing. And he has a body, and he can only know what he sees as he's there. He is a person God thingy-mabob.
Yeah.
And he creates things with mistakes. He creates man, and has man as in the sex or the gender man, create names for all the animals because he doesn't bother doing it himself. And then he figures out, oh no, man is a little bit lonely, we should get him a helper, but there's no helpers around.
But it's really weird because a lot of animals had already the other sex, right?
Who knows? Who knows? It isn't described there.
It's not. All right, let's continue.
Okay, so this is kind of weird, yeah. But they finally, God figures out, oh, we can make him a partner out of one of his sides, and whether that is a rib or it is an equal part, we don't really know, but I'm leaning more towards it being sort of an equal part, and cutting him up and making him another, and that at this point they are equal.
Yeah.
And God says to the unnamed man and woman that they are free to go around in the garden and to eat whatever fruit they find.
From whatever tree they want.
From whatever tree they find. But there are 2 special trees. One is the tree of eternal life, which they are apparently allowed to eat from. The other is the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And that's okay by them, because they can follow rules. But then comes the snake.
But you didn't say that they cannot eat from one tree, and that's the...
I forgot that detail, which is the most important detail.
You cannot eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
You can eat from all the trees except the one with the knowledge of good and evil.
Yeah.
Because if you do that, then you will surely die.
Yes, that's what was said.
That's what God says. And then comes along a snake, and the snake is more clever than the other animals, and they specify that it's more clever than other animals.
Yes.
If they thought the snake was the great enemy of God, they would have specified that the snake is the great enemy of God. But they don't. They specify that it's smarter than the average bear
Yeah.
or snake.
And has only one head. And has only one head.
Yes. So this is a snake. This is an animal snake.
Yeah, yeah.
And that animal snake goes to Eve and says, why don't you eat of that tree? Well, God said that we're allowed to eat of any tree except that one tree. And yeah, why not? Because we will surely die. No, says the snake. You will not die. You will become as gods,
Yeah.
knowing the difference between good and evil. And Eve listens to the snake, this is what we're trying to draw right now. And I realized that I've placed the ground a little bit, making Eve a little bit too long-legged, so I need to push up the ground a little bit. But I can do that because it's art.
Yeah, it is.
So Eve eats the fruit, and then she gets, the woman eats the fruit because she hasn't got a name yet. And then the man eats the fruit.
Because the woman said, yeah, you should eat it because it's fine.
Yeah, and it is fine. And then they hear God come strolling around and they realize they're naked. Because somehow the knowledge of good and evil means the knowledge that being naked is evil, is naughty. Nakedness, very naughty. Before this, nakedness, not naughty.
No.
After this, nakedness,
Yes.
very naughty.
Yes.
Naughty nakedness.
Yeah.
And they realize God is coming along, so they sew together clothes from fig leaf, coverings. And they hide, and God asks, hey, where are you? Why are you hiding? Did you eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil?
No.
Yeah, a bit. Only a
Tiny.
only a bit.
Yeah.
And then God says, oh no, you shouldn't have done that. Because now you know the difference between good and evil, and you are like us, multiple gods. And therefore he has to toss them out of the garden of evil. And he has to punish the snake by giving the snake, or by making the
away.
snake crawl around, apparently taking away his limb. So what I'm drawing here, all wrong, because I haven't drawn the legs yet.
You need to.
I'm going to.
Yeah, but you forgot about one thing. Aside of taking these legs, okay, let's finish. But what are the punish? What is the punishment?
Yeah. So the punishment is that a snake should crawl on the ground. It will be despised by women and children who will crush its head whenever they see it.
Yeah.
And the woman will be subservient to the man,
More like giving.
ruled over by the man, and her and childbirth will be painful.
Painful, yeah.
And she will also bleed once a month, probably. And this is sort of this story. It comes after the grand cosmic creation of the earth. The later story, which is put earlier in the Bible, but it is more kind of a practical story, like a description. How come childbirth is painful? Well, you know, garden trees. How come snakes don't have legs? You know,
There
Garden,
there are
trees.
two more things you forgot. One is that the men, like males, now we had to do a really hard labor
Oh yeah, yeah.
to get food, and why people will die, because then he put an angel in to guard the entrance to Eden, so they cannot eat from the other tree, which is the tree of eternal life.
Yes. So this is what ties it together with the Gilgamesh, is that the snake is the one, the animal snake is the one responsible for, in a sense, tearing humans away from eternal life. And in addition, tossing us out of the garden where we could just go and pluck food
And be stupid.
and be stupid, be very stupid, which
No,
is a
because,
luxury. Yeah?
because we totally ignorant. Because
Not knowing good and evil.
yeah, and how you will know that you shouldn't eat from that tree when you don't know that it's not something you should do? Because the tree, the fruits from the tree will tell you, oh, will give you the possibility to know that's not what you're supposed to do.
But again, this kind of like the Loki story. I think that this is a story that's not supposed to be, it's not supposed to lay out cosmic truth in this sense. It's supposed to give a satisfying explanation for why some shit happens.
Yeah, gives you a.
So it wraps up a lot of questions. Why do we have to die? Check. Why don't snakes have legs? Check. Why is childbirth
Painful.
Painful? Check. Why do we have to toil? Check. Solves all those in a kind of funny way. And also, it again, it's sort of one of the reasons why we can say it's in a kind of funny way is because it has this anthropomorphic God who don't only make mistakes when creating the earth, isn't perfect in any way, isn't all-knowing in any way, but also lies.
Oh yes.
Because as we hinted at, the snake tells the truth.
They didn't
will
die.
surely die. No, they didn't die. They will gain the knowledge of good and evil.
And they will live like 900 years or something, right?
Yeah, it takes time for mortality to set in.
Oh yes.
Completely. And yeah, so there you have it. And that sort of, yeah, it is an interesting journey that this, in Christian mythology, well, we're not talking about the biblical mythology, but in Christian mythology, when these stories are interpreted and reinterpreted, and when it becomes shackled to this idea that everything has to make sense. The whole book has to make sense as one work, even though it's written over 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And it contains stories from many cultures and from many different time periods. It all has to make sense. So then you start binding it together and figure out, ooh, God can't lie. God can't make mistakes. And the serpent has to be the devil himself, even though the devil wasn't.
No. But this is doing the same as Marvel is doing, or other things like now. It's like we have all the stories, and now we need to figure out how they're gonna fit together, because we have all this like gaping holes in the story, and like we need to like put it together. And then you look at the Bible or any other, and someone at some point said we need to do the same, which is totally wrong, because this is not the point of those stories. Those stories were written down after they were written down, because of course at the beginning it was just an oral culture, so spoken they were just talking about it, reciting or singing, right? Now we have all these stories, and they were from a certain point of view in a certain time. The first stories when the God, let's talk about the OG and Garden of Eden and the Bible, when God has actually was a physical being who has a house, and after the destruction of the temple, the house was gone. So there was a change of setting when everything is. And why we should, at the end of the story, let's say when the Bible was finished, telling why it was. It was because it was needed to tell that story. Now God doesn't need a temple. Now we have Christianity, let's say, or Islam, and we can spread around the world, right?
Yeah.
Why we need to tell the story and fit everything to the story we're telling now, when the story was written down or told, it has a total different goal, right?
Absolutely. But again, I think that the Marvel analogy is very good. But I think this sort of works for all mythology and for our understanding of mythology as a whole, because we are, and we've done this, I've done this mistake already in this episode, to think how can we fit the concept of a mythological snake into a whole? And this is kind of like, let's say archaeologists dig up Marvel comics and movies and MCU in 1,000 years' times, and they have 50 scattered issues of Marvel comics. They have a few anthology books. Some are from Ultimate Spider-Man, some are from the OG Spider-Man, some are from MCU. And they're trying to fit this all together into a whole. But Steve Ditko's Spider-Man wasn't the same as Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man.
No.
Wasn't the same as Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
No.
Or what's-his-face Spider-Man. So there, we have all these different stories, and we're so obsessed with figuring out how can we put them into a whole? How can we fit them into a perfect
A box or something.
Yeah, how can we box them in? This is probably one of, in my opinion, one of the most damaging things from world religions and from written text as a whole, is this idea that we have to put, what is written down has to be the truth, and we have to make everything fit into that one box.
Teleology right here.
Yeah.
And what is funny, when I started, one of my first semester, when I was studying cultural sciences, one of the first lessons we had was to read a book or a short story about the Emperor Kennedy, where you said that there were some archaeologists who were digging up Marvel comics and shit like that. I just totally, it hit me. We had exactly this kind of story when there are archaeologists in the future digging up stuff from our time and putting a story together for bits and pieces they don't totally understand, but they need to put it in a coherent story. That's exactly the same. For us, by the way, that story was to always be careful when we try to build a story about knowledge we have, because we might be totally wrong, or even building a story is totally not necessary, like a coherent story for the whole cultural text, because there might be 3,000 cultural texts that don't fit together, don't work together very well, because the only binding thing is the culture that produced them, right? Yeah. But because there were different people in different times, they may not tell the same story or be a continuation of something started 1,000 years ago, let's say. Right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that sort of, this undermines my whole idea of the dragon snake spectrum. Because, yes, I believe absolutely that stories are, this is not my scientific belief, this is my belief as a storyteller, that the technology of storytelling makes stories last a lot longer than what we can prove. That we have in our modern stories remnants of stories that were told as far back as humans or even before. That as long as we have had language, we can tell stories for not just for hundreds of years, but for thousands of years. But these stories also change and are fluid and adapt and can undergo these radical shifts.
Yeah, memes, man, memes.
Yeah, memes. And I think...
You done?
Almost.
All right, because we are around an hour.
We are around an hour. I think we can safely say that around an hour will be the time period for these things, because I can't...
And what you said is, draw from mythology?
Drawing from myth, yeah.
Okay.
I think we're going to call this drawing from myth.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have drawn enough from myth today, so we can start wrapping up as I start wrapping up this image. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you are watching this and you're liking what you're seeing, please do comment. Also, give us tips about who should we talk to, what should we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
We need your help to make this as good as it can be. And what do you have to say?
I would like to have it more episodes and interesting topics we can talk about. And there is so much, like just researching about serpents. I started in November, so it's a huge topic. We could talk forever. So if we have more topics and you are interested in it, just, as Kim said, just comment and we can check it out and see what we're gonna like or Kim is gonna like, and then we decide what to do.
Yeah. And this is very much a work in progress. We're creating the road as we're walking it,
Mm-hmm.
that's the fun stuff, I think. So we're very happy if you are. We're not walking the road.
Nah.
We're slithering the road like a serpent.
Let's go back to the Harry Potter with the Slytherin, right?
No. Let's not. We are crawling the road and figuring out
As we go.
And in our pilot episode, you asked me if I was going to end my drawing with the circle that I often use. And that circle is an enso.
Mm-hmm.
And I said no, because I put that symbol when I would call myself an atheist and a Satanist, and a spiritual atheist or God-fearing Satanist is what I like.
That's a mouthful.
That's a mouthful, yes. And I put that enso symbol in when I think that I might have landed on something spiritual in some sense, something that's worth thinking more about in some sense. And with the last episode, I think that we could have delved into the spiritual sides of rats, but I don't think we did too much. With this episode, I think we did delve into
A bit more close.
more spiritual things, and there are things I need to check with the gods that don't exist,
Yeah.
with the fates, with the cosmos, with chance, and check if it's allowed or if I have to tear it up. And the rules when I do the Enso is, if the Enso doesn't come out well, I have to tear up the artwork. If it comes out well, then I get to keep it. Then it is allowed to exist. So should I end this with an Enso?
Please do.
So first sign it, because there is a finished work, and then we are going to see if the God that doesn't exist accepts our.
Let's see it. I'm gonna see here on the screen. 'Cause
And this is always as nerve-wracking.
yeah, I remember every single time you do it.
That's a snake biting its own tail. That's the Ouroboros.
Oh yeah.
And I think with that was a success. So I think we're done. And if you liked this, then yeah, this will be uploaded to my web store. It will be uploaded for free use because art is speech and speech must be free. So you can do whatever you want with the scanned version of this. I will probably, looking at it now, the gods allow a few more details. I forgot where I was. I can't do just shadow on one side of the tree. I have to space it out, and that's okay. The gods allowed it. And with that, I think we are done. Thank you for watching, and yeah, we'll be back with more Drawing from Myth, with episode 2 of Drawing from Myth.
Or 3, depends how we look, how we count it.
We will get these numbers in the right order eventually.
Yeah.
We will get everything in the right order. So please comment. What would you like to see us do more of? What would you like to see us improve? What do you think was great? And who do you think would win in a no?